How to do flaming fast long division.
Okay, today we're going to have a look at fast long division. To do that, we need to know some very basic things. We need to know about this symbol here, which is our long division symbol, and we also need to know about something called remainders. And we're going to use remainders to help us solve this problem really quickly. The remainder is the bit left over after you divide a number that doesn't fit neatly. So for example, we want to divide 5 into this number here, and we can do it one place value at a time. These are hundreds, tens and ones. So we're going to start at our hundreds. The answer on these ones goes up on the top. So let's see. How many times does 5 go into 6?
Once with a remainder of 1.
And so we can put our remainder down here to make this look like 19. It's actually 19 tens in this case because that's in that place value. So how many times does 5 go into 19?
3 with a remainder of 4.
So we can put our 3 because that's how many times it goes in. Our remainder goes down here to make 45. 5 into 45 goes
9.
9 times nice and neat.
With no remainder.
So we know that 695 divided by 5 is
139.
Should we try a harder one next?
Yeah.
Good.
Let's go.
Okay, so here's our new number. It's a little bit harder than the other one that we tried before. First of all, we know that it's not in the 5 times table. There's a problem, isn't there? It doesn't end in a
5 or a 1. 0.
doesn't end in a 5 or a 0, so we know it's not in the 5 times table. There's going to be a bit left over. Is that a problem?
No.
Not a problem. Okay, we can start over here. 5 goes into 6.
Once with a remainder of 1.
Okay, and then we've got the next thing over here. We know that this is representing 12. In this case it's 12 hundreds, but it doesn't matter to us. We can still, all the maths for us is only having to fit 5 into 12, which goes in
Twice with a remainder of 2.
beautiful. 5 fits into 20 tens really neatly.
4
times?
times.
Is there any remainder?
No.
That's alright, we don't have to do anything yet. What we do have to do though is look how many times 5 fits into 1.
It doesn't.
It fits no times.
With the remainder of 1.
That's what we use our little R here for. We put our 1 there.
Or
So,
0.2.
or 0.2. So what Tate said there is a remainder of 1 when you're dividing by 5 equals 0.2. So if you wanted to convert that to a decimal, you would say that is 0.2. Nice pointing out. I like it. Shall we try another even trickier one?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, so now our new problem is dividing by 4. A little bit harder than dividing by 5 because we don't know our 4s quite as conveniently as we know our 5s. Still, not a problem. Now the first thing that the kids here will notice is that 4 does not go into 3. Now, can we put a 0 above the 3?
Yes.
We can if we want to. It doesn't matter. You can leave it blank or you can put a 0, whichever is easiest for you to understand. But technically speaking, 4 goes into 3 no times. So we move our 3 across here to make 38. Now you can just imagine that together as 38. And that's perfectly fine too. So what is a multiple of 4 that goes into 38? You might have to think about that. 36? Good. So what times 4 is 36?
9.
Beautiful. So we can say it goes in 9 times. There's some left over though?
With the remainder of 2.
Remainder of 2. So this now is 27. It's 27 tens actually, but that's okay. We can treat it as 27. 4 goes into 27 how many times?
Times with the remainder of 3.
6 times because 4 times 6 is
24.
24, and then we've got 3 left over here. Now what you might find is that that'll go in quite neatly. 4 times what is 32?
8.
Nice. So So there's no remainder on the end of it, and we also don't really need this 0. We could say, to make it easier to understand, we can say, well, really, 3,872 divided by 4 is...
968.
Well done, you guys. Okay, so now I've got a little friend who's going to help me with this one. It's got a complication. 2 complications, actually. First of all, there's loads of zeros in it, and they look a bit like your eyes, buddy.
Yeah.
And then there's a decimal point, scruffy one, and some decimal numbers after that. These are tenths, these are hundredths. Now, we had a question from our Leah before. She said, can you divide decimal numbers by 4 or any other number? And the answer, of course, is
Yes.
yes, you can. So let's have a go. In actual fact, here's our little secret. It doesn't make any difference whether it's a decimal number or thousands or any of those numbers. We can use the same technique and it's just as easy. So, I would suggest doing this first. Look at this decimal point here. Just put one there so you don't forget to do it later, and you'll know that whatever comes after that is in the decimals. So, does 4 go into 5?
Yes.
How many times?
Once.
Goes in once. And there's a remainder of...
1.
Now, does 4 go into 10?
Yes. Twice.
Goes twice. With a remainder of...
2.
Does 4 go into 20?
5 times.
5 times. We're getting an interesting number here. Now, over here, we're in the decimals, but just ignore the decimal point for the moment. We can treat that as if it's 9. So does 4 go into 9?
Yes.
How many times?
1 times.
2 times, because 2 times 4 is 8, so we can say twice.
Twice with the remainder of 1.
1. Now, does 4 go into 13?
Yes, 3 times with the remainder of 1.
It goes in 3 times.
times.
Now, in this case, we could say remainder of 1, and it would look like that. But we're talking about decimal numbers, so we can actually say, well, actually, if we think of 1, and you can look at this puppet, and we divide 1 by 4, each of those is 0.25. So what we can do, instead of putting remainder of 1, we can say, put a little sneaky 25 on the end there. So our number should be something like 125.2325. Complicated. What do you reckon, Puppet?
I quite like it. It's easy.
It is easy. It seems complicated, but when you go through it, little bit by little bit by little bit, it becomes really easy. So here's another one to try. This time we're dividing by 3. A little bit harder, but not too bad. I think we can manage it. The nice thing is, if you know your ordinary basic facts, you can do this kind of division really quickly. So, first things first. Can you fit 3 into 7?
Yes, 2 times.
Twice you can fit it in.
The remainder of 1.
With a remainder of 1, which makes 14. In this case, it is actually 14. We've borrowed 10 from here and stuck it over here. So, 3 goes into 14 how many times?
4 times.
4 times.
4 times?
Yeah.
3 times 4 is...
12.
Good. So it goes in 4 times. And how many have we got left over? Remainder of 2. Good. So 3 goes into 25. These are actually tenths now, but it's 25 tenths, which sounds strange. 3 goes into 25. How many times?
8 times.
Beautiful.
With the remainder of 1.
There's a remainder of 1. It's a little bit harder going with the thinking, but you guys are doing well. 3 goes into 10. How many times?
3 times with the remainder of 1.
Then last of all, 3 goes into 12.
4 times.
4 times.
Nice and neat. So, we had 74.502, a very small decimal number at the end. These are thousandths. Then we divided that number by 3 to get
834.
Excellent. Well done, you guys. I think it's about time the people watching on YouTube got to have a go for themselves. Shall we give them an easy one to start with?
Yeah.
All right. We've shown you how to do it. I think it's probably your turn now. So these guys have come up with a number that they think you should be able to divide quite easily now. So we'll put in 275. So what we'll do is get you to pause the video and have a go at this and see what you come up with. Once you've done that, start again and see if your answer matches ours. Okay, pause now. Okay, you've had a bit of a go. Now, see if you've gone through the same process and end up with the same answer. Now, you guys can help me. 5 goes into 2 how many times?
No times, but you have a remainder of 2.
But we can put this 2 over here, and we almost don't really need to do that because we can imagine this 27 anyway. But for the sake of keeping it nice and straightforward, we'll shift this over here and say now we've got 27 tens. So 5 goes into 27. How many
5 times was the remainder of 2.
And then with our remainder of 2 over here, we have 25. 5 goes into 25.
5 times.
So, if you got 55 for 275 divided by 5, I think you are right. Well done, you guys. Do you want to try one in the 4 times tables?
Yeah.
Of course
Okay.
we do.
Okay, here's our new one for you to try out. This one is 824 divided by 4. Now here's a little tip. If you want to know whether or not it's in the 4 times table, just have a look at the last 2 digits. If they are a multiple of 4, it's in the 4 times table. So we know it will fit. What will it do? So write this down on your own bit of paper and have a bit of a go for yourself. Pause this, come back in a few seconds and see what you come up with. Okay, pause now. Okay, here's what we would do. You ready, kids?
Yeah.
Aye, aye, Captain! Okay, so 4 goes into 8 how many times?
2 times.
And it's nice and neat, there's nothing left over. 4 goes into 2 how many times?
No times was the remainder of 2.
Now, we didn't really even need to write a remainder there. We could say 4 into 24 goes
6 times.
6 times. So, without really even doing much work at all, we can say 824 divided by 4 is...
206.
Well done, you guys. Who feels really confident with dividing by now?
Me.
I
Excellent.
do.
Of course you do.
Thanks to these guys.